What's up, everybody? My name's Cody Rattler, and welcome to the bonus episode, episode 11 of the Ultimate Favorite Pokemon Picker. If you guys haven't seen, I have now officially completed this tracker. By the time you're watching this on YouTube, episodes 1 through 10 should be available. I've gone through, I filled out generations 1 through 9. I filled out the last column and row, which is the favorite from each type, as well as just the all-time favorite being Tyranitar. Shout out again to, in my opinion, the best Pokemon there is. But today we've got a bonus episode. Today I've got to finish the rest of this freaking tracker. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive in. There is no more typing. We're not going to be filling out the table above. Now we're just going through and filling out these various boxes that we have left. This first section is like a team box. From what I've gathered, this is pretty much just like, what is your ideal team? I'm not sure if I want to start with this. Maybe we'll end with this. I haven't put any thought to this. Again, the whole point of this whole tracker is there is now over 1,008 Pokemon from what I remember. 1,008 last I checked. I don't know what my ideal team is. I'm not even ready to tackle that. So we're just going to go ahead and dive into the boxes themselves. I'm going to scroll over and we'll start with favorite regional bird. All right, let's take a look at what we got. We got Pidgey, we got Spearow, Hoot Hoot, Tailo, Wingull, Starly, Pidove, Fletchling, Picky Peck, Rookity, Squawkabilly, and Wattrell. Damn. Shout out to me for being able to name all of these on the spot. Who is my favorite bird? You know, I think this is, I don't know about you guys. Like, I don't know if, like, when you're looking at this list, if anything pops out immediately, but my top two would easily go between Fletchling or Piggypeck. I just love both these Pokemon. I love that Fletchling evolves into Talonflame. Again, one of my favorite flying type Pokemon. Fire and flying is sick. But then we have the Toucannon line, which, again, I think that Toucan Sam looking Pokemon it's just sick. And it's a little woodpecker, like the first form, so that's kind of cool too. I think I'd go between these two. So out of those two, which one would I like more? I might go for Fletchling because it's also got that fire capability. So like right off the bat, this thing can shoot fire. It's pretty sick. It's pretty sick. I think I'm going to go Fletchling. What do you guys say? Favorite regional mammal. So this is kind of at the bottom of the screen, but for the sake of not having to scroll in and out, I'm going to leave it where it's at. So these are our, I want to call them kind of similar to like Rattata clones. Like Pikachu, we're going to have our Pikachu clone box here in a couple boxes, but the regional mammal, just like the regional birds, we have like our own Rattata line for every generation. So clearly you can see Rattata kick this off in Gen 1. We have Sentret, we have Zigzagoon, Bidoof, which again is the Pokemon Company's favorite Pokemon. I have no doubt in that. I'm very confident in saying that. There's Patrat, there's Bunnelby, there's the Alolan Rattata, which is cool. I'm forgetting our little, what's the Weasel's line? Yungoos or Yangoose or something? It's a mongoose, not a weasel. Then we have, what is the Chipmunk? Why am I spacing on the name? First form for the Chipmunk. It's Sword and Shield, and I'm spacing on the name. Honestly, if you're going to throw Lechonk in there, I feel kind of biased here. You're going to give me the cute-ass little pig versus all these rats? Of course I'm going to pick the pig. Squovet, that's right. Squovet and Yungoos. I was almost 100% for the favorite regional mammal, but shout out, Arian. Once again, knowing your Pokemon. Knowing your Pokemon. Who would you guys pick for favorite mammal? I feel like Lechonk is a given. Maybe it's a little bit more fresh. It's a favorite of mine, but yeah, I don't know. All of these are very bland. Like, they're not well seasoned. These Pokemon are just, I think they're all normal type, with the exception of the Alolan Rattata. Got a little bit of spice in there. But no, the Lechonk, straight up bacon. Let's go. Favorite regional bug. Okay, so these are going to be our Caterpies of each generation. Caterpie, Weedle. We have Ladybug, Spinarak, Wurmple, right? Kricketot, I think, was the first form. That might actually be, it's either Kricketot or Kricketune. I think it's the tot. Swebble, I think, is a little caterpillar leaf. Probably not going to be able to name all these Pokemon now that I'm thinking about it. We got Grubbish, the little grub. I'm forgetting the little psychic bug Pokemon from Sword and Shield. It was really cool. It evolved into our Orbital. We have our Silk Spider, also forgetting the name, and then the Lotix first form. Dang, I'm like struggling on these first forms. I don't know most of the bugs, but Blipbug. Yeah, Blipbug is the one that would evolve into Orbital. Okay, who's my favorite regional bug though? I mean, none of these Pokemon are my favorites. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. None of them are like top of mind when I think of my favorite Pokemon. But who's my favorite bug? If you only let me pick one of these, which is the whole point in this, I might give it up to Caterpie. It's a classic. Butterfree's a beautiful Pokemon. It's the OG. Although, like, if you threw all these bugs into just like an arena and just like let it be a bloodbath, last man standing kind of thing, I don't know that Caterpie would win. I think Caterpie is not aggressive enough. If it was a bloodbath arena, then shit. Maybe our Scolopede's first form. What's Scolipede? What am I thinking? What's the first form? Spacing on its name. It's probably the most aggressive bug out of this group. They're all pretty timid, all things considered. They would run at the sight of most enemies, opponents. Caterpie or Scoliopede's first form, which I'm spacing on the name. I'll give it to Caterpie. I'll give it to Caterpie. Might not win the bloodbath battle, but I'll give it to Caterpie. You pick Grubbin because of Vikavolt. A solid choice. Grubbin's solid. I like me some Grubbin. Favorite pseudo legendary. Now this is a contrast in some choices. We go from favorite regional bug, the most, I would say arguably the most pathetic Pokemon that we have to choose from, versus the freaking pseudo legendaries, the beasts of each generation. These are the Dragonites of each generation, the Tyrannitars, the Salamences. Like, these are they're not as threatening as you would see the legendaries, you know, be a worldly crisis legendary Pokemon, but these are way better than the average Pokemon. They're called pseudo-legendary for a reason. These things can keep up with legendary Pokemon in their own right. Holy crap, that's a lot of awesome Pokemon to choose from. I think most of these made my top favorite Pokemon chart above. Considering Tyranitar won my favorite Pokemon, I don't think that it's a fair fight for any other Pokemon, right? Logistically speaking, Tyranitar wins, according to my own logic. So I think I'm going to give that to Tyranitar. Favorite Pikachu clone? Now this is a question I've been very excited and eager to dive into. I already know the answer for me, but I wanted to show you guys because there's so many freaking Pikachu clones nowadays. Obviously, we have a lot of different variants of Pikachu here. There's plenty of costumes that Pikachu has worn in the several generations that we have so far. The second half of this list is just Pikachu in different outfits. The first entire row is just Pikachu's evolution line, so a lot of these are just Pikachu itself. However, you can clearly see in the other generations, we've had plenty of Pokemon that represent Pikachu in their own regard. Just go ahead and say it. Mimikyu's my choice if you guys didn't already know. I'm very biased towards Mimikyu. I love Mimikyu. It is the best Pikachu clone. There is no arguing. I wasn't going to ask you guys because it's not really an opinion thing at this point. It's facts. Mimikyu is the greatest in this category. If you beg to differ, then I'm sorry. But that's where I draw the line. Although, again, a lot of really cool Pokemon in here. I'm surprised, yeah, all three of the Palmer and Palmizzle, whatever the hell their names, all three of them made it because they're all technically a Pikachu clone. Morpeko, though, is pretty cool, too. I love that it has two different variants depending on if it's hangry or not. But no, this is absolutely going to Mimikyu. Mimikyu takes it. Okay, favorite Eeveelution. This one's for you, Marina. This is your question. Out of all 11 episodes now, this one comes down to you. Who is your favorite Eeveelution? Who is my favorite, actually? That's what I want to know. So I'm going to go ahead and write off Eevee. I feel like that's just, it's bland. It's normal type. It's the basic. There's no seasoning. There's nothing exciting going on with just Eevee. Every other Eevee, we've got some sort of flavor behind it, right? Right? Now, who's my favorite? If I think again, battle-wise, Jolteon is way up there. That speed that Jolteon has is unparalleled, and the special attack is incredibly strong. Alternatively, Espeon is also really up there. Umbreon is freaking badass. Umbreon's tanky, so whereas it doesn't necessarily sweep like you'd see Jolteon or even Espeon doing, Umbreon can take hits like nobody's business. Umbreon is a wall. Leafeon and Glaceon are both really cool. Flareon might be one of my least favorites, only because of the stat split up. Highest stats are attack and defense, but unfortunately, there are not many solid fire attacks. There's a lot of solid fire special attacks, but Flareon's move pool is very lacking. In that regard, it is one of my least favorites. Sylveon, really cool. And then there's this big old chonky Eevee. That's the Dynamax, or Gigantamax rather. Now for me, this is going to go between Jolteon, Espeon, or Umbreon. Now who's my favorite? I think in most situations, I would probably take a Jolteon on my team. It's just one of the strongest electric type that there is. But I don't know, who do I like more, Jolteon or Umbreon? Jolteon, Umbreon, or Espeon? I think I'll give it to Jolteon. I look over, Central, Umbreon, he's screaming through his computer, throwing his keyboard. Umbreon, you fucking jackass! Just to spite Central, I'm going to go ahead and stick with my gut and say Jolteon is the better of the two. Sorry, Centro. You know I like to trigger you. And I know the same is said vice versa. You'll do anything to get under my skin. Next up is our favorite fossil Pokemon. So this one's exciting. I love our fossil Pokemon throughout the ages. Not every generation has fossil Pokemon, which is kind of a bummer. We didn't get any fossil Pokemon for Scarlet and Violet, which I'm not really sure why, you know? It's not to say that like ancient Pokemon or ancient fossils didn't exist back then, you know? Right? So like why didn't Scarlet and Violet? I get that it's technically one giant island, but like islands still have fossils. All right, I'm going to stop trying to dissect it. Suffice to say, not every generation has fossils, but looking at our list, we have Gen 1, I think Gen 3 is in here. There's definitely Gen 4 and Gen 5. And then we have, I think Sword and Shield. Those last few were the ones that we saw in that generation. Gen 9? No, 8. Who is my favorite of these? Every single fossil Pokemon is rock type, or they share rock type as a typing. Fun fact, in case any of you didn't know that about the fossils. It makes sense. They're all literally fossilized rock Pokemon brought back to life. But it does make me wonder, like, what were these Pokemon like, you know, in their time? Were they all rock before they became fossil, or did they don the fossil type because they all perished and became fossils? Now I'm getting too far into the freaking... I'm getting too far into the rabbit hole. Okay, so looking at these, I love Kabutops. Just design alone, it's basically like our ancient Scyther. Like, they both have blades for arms. Aerodactyl is really cool. Armaldo. Cranidos is sick. I love the Tyrantrum. Got a massive T-Rex. Yeah, and everybody else is kind of like, nah. I don't like hate any of them, but they're not like my go-tos when I'm playing through a Pokemon game. Some of them might make a team, but I've had my fair share. I will say I don't feel that any of the fossil types are necessarily like the best options that you have if you're trying to build like the perfect online team. Fossils are pretty cool though. It's a pretty cool Pokemon. I'd probably boil it down to Aerodactyl or Tyrantrum. And knowing that I love Gen 1, like I'm very old school in that regard, I might give it up to Aerodactyl. Very high speed and attack. Tyrantrum, not necessarily high speed, but also really attack heavy. I'll give it to Aerodactyl. Literally a prehistoric pterodactyl. That's pretty freaking awesome. What would you guys say? Favorite regional form. Holy crap. Okay, so I haven't really gone through this bonus section down below. A lot of this is still a surprise to me. I didn't expect to see favorite regional form, but here we are. It makes sense. There are so many badass Pokemon in here. This is so hard to choose. It's hard to narrow it down. Regional forms, huh? Who did I like the most as far as like seeing something different? Like being excited about seeing some love for something new. The Alolan Pokemon were really cool. Those were the first variants of regional forms that we had. That Galarian Ponyta and Rapidash though, that was so cool. They had like their own special reveal. The Pokemon Company trying different things. Don't really care too much for the Slowbros. Farfetch is cool. Muck and Executor cool. I did say Marowak was probably my favorite. I might go Marowak on this. I did like those 3 original legendary birds. I didn't really talk to them too much, but Articuno picked up Psychic. I think it was Psychic. Zapdos became like a Roadrunner, which is cool. Kind of an Arizona style Birdo. And then Moltres just became more on fire. I don't know. Looking through, Corsola died because the Great Barrier Reef is dying. Yay, humanity. Typhlosion also died. Yay for more death. Zoroark also died, but this was in the past, so technically it found life at some point. Yeah, I think I'm going to make this easy and go Marowak. I think design-wise and having that like fire staff, I already told you guys why I like it. If you don't know, go back and watch that episode. Marowak is just sick. I don't think I used it too much in Sun and Moon, which shame on me, but still. Going from just a ground type to a fire and ghost. Like, I love fire and I love ghost, so yeah. Alolan Marowak is going to take that for me. Moving into the favorite Gigantamax Pokemon. I'm pretty sure that I've already addressed this too, didn't I? So these are specifically Gigantamax forms from our Sword and Shield era. These were different than Dynamax. You had to go out of your way to get Pokemon that could become these special forms. And they all had their own little gimmick as far as ability. They all had something special and unique. They weren't all as good as one another. Some were better than others. Some saw a lot more rotation in online battles, but who is my favorite? That's what we're trying to figure out. I'll tell you who it's not. Melmetal. What did they do to my boy? He's got legs for days. I think it might be Charizard. I think Orbital was really cool too. I know we'd recently talked about that one being cool. I love the Rillaboom having the drum set. For those of you that might not have known, I do play drums. I'm a drummer at heart, so by default, I was leaning towards the gorilla. But no, I think I might pick Charizard just because for the sake of Charizard getting like fire wings, that's so sick. And this is like him standing on 2 legs instead of constantly flying. Yeah, we're going to give it to Charizard. As always, though, I'm curious, what would you guys pick? I want to know. Favorite box legendary. Okay, so this is cool because we actually have a favorite legendary category, not lumping the mythics with the legendaries. I feel like, as a side note, there have been a handful of people out there that just get snooty whenever I'm like, favorite legendary category, and then it includes mythics. Like, they're getting so hung up on me lumping them together. I didn't build this freaking tracker. I never said I built this tracker. People will be like, so-and-so is not a legendary. How dare you? I'm sorry. What can I do about that? I've been doing the best I can to try to save face in comments. It doesn't matter. You can't impress them all. Someone out there is going to be upset because you misspoke. Okay, well, here's our favorite box legendary to all of you out there that seem bothered by that. By the mythics being lumped in with the legendaries. Who the F is my favorite legendary? So how did we not have Mewtwo in this? Is Mewtwo not a legendary? Well, this is saying favorite box legendary. So now I need all the snooty people out there to explain to me what the heck is a box legendary. Someone tell me, where'd my Mewtwo go? I don't see Mewtwo. Is he not in a box? I don't freaking know. Lugia or bust? Yeah, probably in this choice. Lugia is S tier. But I already said I love Solgaleo and Lunala too. I don't know, legendaries, all of these are cool. Each one of these had a massive story behind them. They were all like world-threatening Pokemon. But I think I do agree with you guys. I think Lugia is my favorite here. Lugia had that whole movie. Most of us were wee lads at the time. Some of you probably might not have even been around. It's sad to say how long ago that movie's must have come out at this point, but yeah, let's go Lugia. I think that is the choice here. But now that I've called it out, what the heck are box legendaries? Like, does anyone know the official definition between that? Legendary on the game box. Wow. That's such a like straightforward explanation. How the hell did I not know that? How did I not know that? Shout out to Bassart. Let's go. I deserve a jackass or two. I clearly had no idea that that's what that even meant. Box legendary. Here I am thinking like, you mean like the Pokebox? Like a PC? Why are they box Pokemon? Wow, what a jackass. Well, that would certainly make a lot of sense. Thank you for the 30 bits there, jackass. Double down. Okay, well, I still stand by Lugia, but you learned something new. The box Pokemon are the Pokemon that appeared on the front cover of the games. You jackass. Okay, favorite mythical Pokemon. Mew is a given. Mew is amazing. I love Celebi. It's a time Pokemon. The idea that it controls time is just, that's clean. Jirachi's cool. It's the Wish Pokemon. Deoxys is like a comet in space. It's an invasive Pokemon. It came to destroy, I think. A lot of these Pokemon they all have like their own side stories. Victini, V for victory, you guys know. And there's a lot of like background lore Pokemon. Like these are deeply lored Pokemon. They're also harder to obtain in the games. Typically you have to get them through special events. So in the normal gameplay, like most of you are probably not getting these Pokemon. Like unless you went through like little glitches, Mew is not accessible in Gen 1, for instance. Same thing with most of these Pokemon. Like you need certain events in order to acquire them, but yeah, Mythics are really cool. I don't know. I really like Mew. I really like Celebi. Victini is so cool, though. Victini is freaking badass. And I remember they passed out Victini as like a gift Pokemon, mystery gift, in the black and white era. And I had Victini on my team. I might go Victini. Darkrai is really cool too. Shaman is amazing. Who would you guys pick? Shout out to Marshadow, Zora Ura, and then Meltan as well. I'm going to go Victini. Victini is my choice. Next up, favorite Ultra Beast. Favorite Ultra Beast. I think this one for me is pretty straightforward. I love Kartana. I'm not sure if there's an R in there. I think it's Katana. No, I think it's Kartana. Katana would be just the shit out sword. I think it's Kartana. It's like an origami paper, and it's really tiny, but this thing's attack is off the charts. It is wild. Nihilego is really cool too. Special attack versus the Kartana's attack. I'll tell you who we're not picking. We're not picking Guzzlord. Did you guys see the recent clip with Guzzlord's scream? It's god-awful. Yeah, I'm going to pick Kartana. Who do you guys like, though? Who's your favorite Ultra Beast? Favorite Paradox Pokemon? All right, so now we're getting into the current generation. Generation 9, Scarlet and Violet. Who's my favorite Paradox? It's weird because like I don't want to pick Koraidon and Miraidon because to me, I don't see them as Paradox, but they, by default, are Paradox Pokemon. I saw them as our legendaries, but they are Paradox of Cyclizar, so that definitely counts. I think I might just pick Koraidon. I love Koraidon. I already explained to you guys recently that I carried the Pokemon throughout the entire game. It is currently, post-game, my strongest Pokemon. Maybe aside from Azumarill, as far as the number of raids that I seem to take on with both, but I don't know. This is pretty tricky. I also shout out to Iron Valiant. This is one of the coolest designs. All of these Pokemon are really cool. I love the fact that we got them. They were different than regional variants. They're like a past and future, but they're not quite the same timeline. I don't even know how to explain them. They're Paradox. They shouldn't exist. I think I might go Koraidon though. If not Koraidon, I'd pick Iron Valiant. But because we have Koraidon here, I have been very clear about it being one of my favorite Pokemon. And it's one of the new ones too. Like, you guys know I love Gen 1 to the core, but I got room in my heart for Gen 9. Oh, this is an easy one. Favorite type. So I do have a handful of favorite types, but I have found filling out this tracker that I highly lean Ghost type. Like, there are so many of my favorite Pokemon are Ghost Pokemon. It's just so sick. I love Ghost. I freaking love Ghost. Yeah, for me it would be Ghost. If not Ghost, I'd probably argue Steel. Really cool. Fairy is also really, really good. I think those are my top 3. Ghost, Steel, and Fairy. But no, I'm picking Ghost. Do we have any other Ghost trainers in the audience? I'm genuinely curious. If you guys, those of you that are here, whether you're live on Twitch or you're watching on YouTube, what type do you lean? Like, if you just had a single type and your whole team was that type, if you were a gym leader, what would you be? I want to know. Sentry, you'd be water? Nice. There's a lot of good water Pokemon out there. Volp, you'd be ghost? Hell yeah. Psychic or bust? All right. So you're saying that I'm going to be super effective against you. Favorite Pokeball. Okay, so I've got some opinions about this, y'all. Let me tell you about what are the best Pokeballs. If you pick Master Ball, I feel like you're probably based. You haven't really experienced many balls in your life. But Master Ball is not the correct choice here, because Master Ball is just too straightforward. It's the 100% guarantee. It's not it, you know? Master Ball is like, you gotta hold on to your Master Ball. You don't use it. You hold on to it for like a trophy, you know? Just to say that you had it. I mean, if you want to use it, it's a free catch. But Master Ball is not the correct answer here. I will tell you what the correct answer is. There's actually a couple of correct answers. Some of my favorite Pokeballs include the Luxury Ball. This ball makes it to where Pokemon that you catch grow more friendly towards you or quicker. Friendlier, quicker. But it's also just a classy as fuck ball. It's the Luxury Ball. You gotta be high end. You gotta be a Pokemon master. You can't be no 11-year-old leaving Pallet Town. Like, you gotta be the Indigo Plateau champion to be rolling in the deep to have Luxury Balls at your disposal. So Luxury Ball, in addition to like making Pokemon more friendly towards you, making them comfy as fuck inside their Pokeball, it's also a flaunting Pokeball. It's a way to be dropping money to show that you mean business, right? It's not an early game Pokeball. You gotta work for this thing, right? It is top tier. It is one of the best. Another great Pokeball, the Dusk Ball. These aren't nearly as high class, they're not as fancy, but they are effective. This Pokeball works better in dark places like caves or anywhere at nighttime. Like, anytime it's night out, this Pokeball is going to be fantastic at catching Pokemon. Another great Pokeball at catching Pokemon is our Quick Ball. This Pokeball is most effective if you use it right off the bat. So the first turn, you don't waste any time. Throw out the Quick Ball. You have the highest odds of catching a Pokemon if you use the quick ball up front. After that, it becomes basic odds like the Pokeball, but for the sake of not having to beat around the bush, to getting straight to the point, like if you're taking on a legendary, for instance, maybe you don't have the Master Ball that you want to blow through, quick ball is a good way to just throw it out there and see if you got those high odds right off the bat. After that, you can either reset and try again or go through with the battle, but quick ball, let me tell you, quick ball is fucking legit. I will say in my defense, some of these balls I don't recognize. I don't remember what the red one is or that pure golden one, so also don't recognize. I think this might be the home ball. This looks like Pokemon Home. I'm not quite sure. And then the ass end of these Pokeballs were in Arceus. They all had their own really cool effects as well, but I'm going to go ahead and say either the Luxury Ball, the Dusk Ball, or the Quick Ball. And I do want to say that a lot of the Pokeballs that we see on screen have some pretty cool effects, but for the sake of like really catching Pokemon, what are the most effective? Those are the 3 that I just named. Excluding Master Ball, it's always going to work. Now, I think I got to go Luxury Ball. I think just in my brief description, I was hyping the most over that Luxury Ball. Gotta have high class, you know? You know? Alright, we're getting close to wrapping this bad boy up. Favorite Pavilion, we're just gonna go ahead and select the one we know. It's the Arizona Pavilion. Out of all of these, they're all really cool. I love that they're all unique, but this one literally looks like the AZ state flag, so that's my argument through and through, moving right along. I'm not even going to worry about favorite Spinda because I don't know what the hell any of this means. I didn't know Spinda was randomized. Cool. Favorite Alchemy. So in case you guys didn't know, Alchemy can come in different flavors. I don't think it changes your stats at all, but I'm going to go ahead and pick the easy one and pick the giant ass birthday cake. This is a Gigantamax form that Alchemy could transform into in Sword and Shield, and yeah, obviously it trumps any of the smaller versions. And then as far as team, I don't even know if I really want to pick a team right now. Maybe I will. I'll throw Tyranitar on the team. We'll go through it. I'm not really like thinking too far into this. I'm going to pick for my favorites though. If we're going to build a team of just favorites. We're going to throw Aegislash in there. I'll pick Dragapult. We need a dragon. Actually, you know what? No, we're not picking Dragapult. We're going to pick Koraidon because I want that dragon and fighting. Plus I already had Ghost, so we're going to avoid that. Who else do I want? 3 more. 3 more. We'll pick Gardevoir. We've got a Psychic and Fairy in there. We'll pick Gengar as well. That's a fucking variety. All right, last one. Last Pokemon. Okay, one more Pokemon, particularly from my favorite categories. So we have Rock Dark, Ghost Steel, Fighting Dragon, Fairy Psychic, Ghost Poison. So we're doubling up on Ghosts there. I have a lot of Ghosts in my favorite category. I told you guys, I'm a Ghost trainer through and through. Would I rather take Lucario or would I rather take... Let's go the Excadrill. I love Lucario, but for the sake of like keeping up the variety, might not be my favorite team I'd take online, but just picking from my favorites, that's a pretty strong team to take into battle. If anybody wants to test it out, I can build this team and we'll throw hands. But that's it. That's the bonus episode, episode 11. I've finally finished this tracker. It has been a doozy. It has been a blast. Both of those things. But this concludes the bonus episode, episode 11. Thank you guys so much for anybody that has watched, joins, supported this series in any way, shape, or form. If you guys like the final video, drop a like. If you want to continue to support the channel, subscribe. This is the end of this series, so we got no more after this. I'll probably be squeezing out a couple more clips, but other than that, we're done. Shout out to everybody who took time to fill out this tracker on your own, who let me know what your favorite Pokemon are. Again, we saw the most growth in any given point of time for my channel from this series. So, yeah, shout out to each and every one of you that have been a part of this. I really much appreciate it. But that concludes the episode on YouTube. That concludes the series. Until next time, my friends, go browse the channel, see if there's any other games that I'm playing that you like. On that note, I'll catch you next time. Adios!